that will prove a certain point. So at the end of CO2, we our students will be able to present or present a full meta-analysis report of, the studies that they have reviewed in accordance with the literature review. And then on CO3 is to produce a comprehensive study regarding debates and current issues surrounding the development of the language programs and policies of multilingual societies. We try to create this as coherent as possible with the theme of creating a meta-analysis to focus on language, program, and policies in multilingual societies with the prerequisite of language acquisition and language learning. So our view into creating a meta-analysis is for them to apply those knowledge into creating a paper with meta-analysis that focus on all of these competencies and throughout a what do you call this, gradual introduction of different elements until they produce a good meta-analysis report and be able to create a manuscript and present to research.
Thank you for this very comprehensive presentation of your output, though I'd like to give some suggestions. CO1, you use the word acquire. So let's try to imagine acquire. When you say acquire, you get, right? And then you intend to ultimately test the outcome through the tangible output of that CO, which is presentation of literature. Do they commensurate? What do you exactly want your students to do here in Acquire?
Sir, basically the thought of it is like when you're conducting a research in chapter two, when you read and read or extensive read different literature and studies, you acquire a certain understanding of a particular course or subject.
What's the bottom line in reading those literature?
For them to, but maybe so we like a college, we were not able to specify what we wanted to do with the presentation of the literature.
Yeah, so what's the bottom line there?
We wanted them to gain as much as they can when it comes to language policies for them to develop more.
Sige, malapit na tayo sa word.
So, sir, we're talking about IL.
And we begin here with CO1. What's
CO1?
When you say you want your students to acquire extensive reading, so is that something that is visible? Of course. Is that something that is measurable? It depends on how you want to measure it. But what is the bottom line of acquiring extensive reading? Ano bang gusto mo makuha ng bata na kaya niyang gawin? Kasi ang outcome is kaya niyang gawin, kaya niyang i-perform, kaya niyang i-demonstrate.
Yes,
sir. That's the outcome. So, if you're going to reward CO1, how will you reward it? Now, kaya gawin, kaya i-demonstrate ng bata.
Sorry, sir, I'm stuck with a choir.
Tawag natin yan ay fixation.
Yes, sir, I'm fixated on choir. I can't think of anything else.
That's the reason why I'm trying to direct you toward the bottom line. Why do you want your students to review related literature? Because in the end, you want them to what?
Sir, following the process, I think, or I can say that with our presentation, I think what I want them or what we want them to do is to like identify a certain focus and key concept that they want to focus on their meta-analysis. Identify a certain key focus for research.
Something like that. So siguro yun ang gamitin natin mas malinaw dito.
For
Kasi ang CO1 mo ay gusto mo nakadedicate yan for literature review.
Yes, sir. And conceptualizing key concept. Conceptualize.
Yan ang gamitin sa CO1.
Conceptualize through extensive.
Parang siya you try to ask your students to read, but don't just simply read. Don't just simply read. I want you to spot on critical concepts from your readings. Di ba parang yung nag-identify ka ng research gap?
Yes, sir. Exactly.
So in the process, kailangan mo muna mag-synthesize. So yun yung mga verbs.
Synthesize, conceptualize.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
So yun yung I think we have to work. But I understand where you're leading at in this matrix. But I guess yung mga use of verbs siguro ang balikan natin. Ano?
Yes.
Halimbawa itong CO2, demonstrate skills. So why don't we go straight? What skills? Conduct language-oriented research and literature. Conduct lang mo siya. But demonstrate skills. Why don't we go straight? Conduct language-oriented research.
I see.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
As i-breakdown natin dito ng mas mabiliit, from ILO 1 to ILO 3, determine, compare, analyze, and interpret data. Which is, in a way, conducting language-oriented research.
Yes. Focus on language program.
Correct. And then all of a sudden, you jump into full meta-analysis of work. How come?
That would be support there, I think.
Yeah, so
We're thinking about doing that on competency building, and then as part of activities in competency building, and then we'll have or give them time to create their full meta analysis.
Okay, so I think there's something missing para ma-connect mo yung tangible output na yan dito sa
Jay would like to share. This manager is also part of our education program, and she was part of.
Hi.
Usually po kasi in the presentation of literature review, there are meta-analysis po kasi is nagpo-focus in the study of different literature review alone. So therefore po, since we already have gathered the data of creating different literature review, there's a part 1 pa lang po tayo, so presentation of literature review. Since meron na po tayong data regarding to ng mga different literature review, we can compare and yun lang po, wala po kami.
Wala
So, ILO 3.
Ang CO1 mo, simple nag-review ka lang ng literature. Pero hindi ka nag-synthesize ng data.
So, we can,
Kapag nandun siya, critical siya, leading to CO2, dahil mag-meta-analysis ka, dapat na-cite mo din
sa demonstrative po ng ILO 3.
Sir, is it possible that if we're going to put on
ILO
the data and data gathering and then interpretation for the time is it possible that we put it on content mastery? Instead of determining the elements, we determine or we analyze those data and those other prior parts.
So, edit yung sa
Yes, we're going to do it.
Sa tangible output niya, dapat pinitaw ko yung mga data na.
Yes, sir.
Kasi yun ang gagamitin mo for meta-analysis.
Yes, sir.
second po na.
Kasi pati yung tangible output mo, increasing din ang complexity.
CO2. This step from the CO2. Starting with the data.
Vertical and horizontal palagi.
Because I'm teaching this subject, if I may suggest, what I usually do is at first I ask students to index literature, and after they index, they have a collection of literature on language programs and policies. The second step that I would do is I would ask them to evaluate it based on the level of evidence. That would be the second part. After they evaluate, wherein they will critique the literature that they have collected while indexing. After that, then they will be able to craft a literature review wherein they will be choosing specific concepts or specific, what do you call this, models that they would like to adhere to. Indexing and then evaluating and critiquing. And then the final one is the drafting of the literature review. The drafting, yes, drafting. Because this is in third year, they're not yet writing their research. So I use this in preparation for their research one in fourth year.
Or sir, is it possible for us that all of the suggestions of them, like is it always that we have to put it there, or we can conduct those in classes, or we really have to put it on this particular chart
You have to put it in a matrix.
in a matrix?
Kasi if you have a matrix like this, imagine it. If you were my student and on the first day of class, I'm going to show you a matrix like this, you know what will be expected of you from the start till the end, right? Alam niyo kung ano yung mga skills na i-assess ko sa inyo or i-measure ko. Alam niyo rin kung ano yung mga tangible outputs na natin ko sa inyo.
So, because
That's
so far
narrative focus.
so far there's no like two objectives that I've seen on the presentation. So it's possible, for example, I have like a bulleted on, for example, on contextual applications of ILO 3 under CO2, and I have like two objectives. Because I've never seen like one on the previous presentations, and that maybe I thought that you have to have just one.
No,
So maybe this one is
minimum.
clarifying.
Pwede yung dalawa.
So thank you ma'am for the suggestion. We will try to implement those things, because now we can have like bulleted objectives under
In
one.
fact, even in the tangible output, you can have more than one.
Thank you ma'am. I'll find that.
Thank you. Thank you. Very good.
Congratulations from the Meneses campus. Our fourth presenter will be, let's give them a big round. Thank you very much. Let's go to the fourth presenter from College of Arts and Fine Arts, CAFA. Our representatives from CAFA around. Architecture and Fine Arts. I'm very sorry about that. Sir, which program would you like to present? Landscape architecture. Maybe request the other participants from the fifth floor and the seventh floor. If it's possible for you to come up here in the amphitheater, it would be appreciated for the closing program. Sa palagay po namin ay magkakasya po tayo dito po sa amphitheater. So we invite you to come up to the seventh floor. Thank you very much. You can proceed with the presentation, sir.
Hello po. So, good afternoon po sa lahat. So, I am from the College of Architecture and Fine Arts Landscape Architecture Department po. No? So, I'm going to present one of our subjects, no? So, Applied Landscape Ecology. So, sige po, i-zoom out naman. So, our original syllabus outcomes no? So, previously kasi ginawa na namin siya in OBE format, pero hindi yung may ganitong ILO format. No? Our original learning outcomes, if we zoom out. Yeah. Our original learning outcomes came out like this. No? So, naka-organized po siya from 1 to 6 directly. So, based on the new or yung kaka-present ako ngayon na I tried to synthesize them into the other format. So, medyo may other butas naman yun. So, sige, I'll start. So, for CO1, so the first part is understanding. No? So, understanding various landscape ecological concepts and how they're related to landscape architecture. So, this is a second year subject. So, and the concept of landscape ecology is very new to the students. No? So, that's why it's very important for the first part that they will understand first ano ba yung landscape ecology. And because landscape ecology is a very broad concept, very broad topic in relation to landscape architecture. Kasi we view it in a very different manner, in a less scientific, hardcore manner than as landscape ecologists might look at them. So, content for ILO 1. to learn the knowledge of landscape ecology and the awareness of different processes and interactions within the natural and man-made environments. So ILO2, they would recognize and identify the different landscape cultural problems in various case studies. And for three, they would discuss these applications of theoretical concepts in landscape architectural projects. So the tangible output from this one is to identify and discuss potential case study areas. So after this one, so the idea kasi of or the general outputs that we have or evaluations for our students are um, research papers of a certain place applying the different concepts of what they're learning. So for CO2, uh, they will conduct the theoretical case studies using landscape gradual concepts. So they will first determine the case study and the factors that are involved in the study. They will carry out the study of the sites and existing factors that they will need to review. Then write a case study analysis for a theoretical case study. So the second line is that they will do the theoretical case study first. So this involves multiple short analysis papers so that they would be able to apply the different topics that they acquired. No? Then for CO3, um, they would formulate and apply landscape project concepts in a site-specific study. So this one would be site-specific na po. So this means that the site and the study area will be actual. So they will analyze previously written theoretical case studies that they did so that they would know how to apply this to the actual case study site. Then they will synthesize all findings and solutions for the previous case studies, and they will use it to develop and finalize final case study for specific site location. So the final output will be another case study that synthesizes all of the topics for the whole semester.
Thank you, sir. So this is for architecture.
Landscape architecture po. Applied landscape ecology sa.
Okay. If you will redo your CO1, if you will rewrite CO1, instead of using the verb understand, which is still very abstracted, what verb will you use?
Actually, the first thing that came into my mind was to learn, no? Kasi nga, nagamit ko na yung learn. So,
Kaya yung learn abstract din.
I see. So,
Kasi pagka outcome, these are exactly what your student can do after knowing and understanding. So after I know and understand, anong kaya kong gawin?
I see. So, potentially, so So is it possible, sir, that we can move yung discuss into the CEO or pwede bang discuss din?
Pwede naman.
Pwede bang umulit yung discuss?
Pwede naman. Tapos tingnan mo yung tangible output mo. Yung tangible output mo, ito kasi would actually, this tells me if what you want your students to come up with after CO1.
Yeah.
You want your students to come up with, what's this? Is this an output? What kind of output is that?
Identification of case study areas po. So they would identify kung ano yung aaralin nila next. So,
Paano yan? Anong writing mo?
yes, so in writing po siya.
So may rationale siya, may justification siya, may...
Yes, so in a more on a research format po siya. So, applied research format.
Parang
Report po siguro.
So, parang more on report po siya. So,
Dapat
the
report.
tangible output ko is a report.
Report.
sige.
Ito identity.
Report ng potential case
Ah,
study.
sige.
So yun ang gusto mong mangyari sa CO1 eh.
Sige po.
Diba? Yun ang gusto mong mangyari. At the end of your CO1, when
You'll
you're
be a
done,
report.
then they'll be able to do some reports on potential case studies. So siguro doon mo i-connect yung CO1 mo.
Sige po.
Kasi hindi porket na-understand ko yung various landscape, I can already make
So, pwede ko ilipat po yung identification dun sa actual CO1. So, they can identify the areas na already.
Tapos palitan natin yung learn. Kasi learn is still abstracted. What's learn? So anong pwede natin gamitin foundational verbs? So for ILO1.
Sige po. Yung ano kasi kaya learn ho yung initial na gamit. Kasi yun yung first time na they would encounter it. So it's a very basic, yun nga, sabi nyo, very abstract, so very basic siya. No? Because it's their first
But it
time.
is something that you intend to assess, di ba? Kasi
The-
ang lahat naman ng outcome na yan, kay
Yeah.
ILO yan, kay CO yan, ina-assess natin yan.
I see.
So how do you plan to assess learning?
We usually assess learning through the papers in one.
So what will they do? Identify,
So they will.
distinguish, anong gagawin?
They're given a situation ho, then they
So
are.
they distinguish.
They write their parang essay type po yung yung analysis sa tama.
So sige kami natin yung mga verbs na. Distinguish, analyze.
Sige.
Sa halip na learn. Kasi learn
Sige.
is still a floating idea. Pero ang expression of learning niya is you can distinguish, you can analyze.
Sige. Iniwasan pa naman kasi baka kasi gumamit ka galaw ng heavy words sa umpisa.
No.
Or not necessarily.
Huwag kayong matakot kasi ang isa sa mga principles ni OBE, high expectation.
Okay, so pwede yung in the first place, meron
Yes.
na agad. Okay.
But make sure that it's attainable. High expectation but attainable.
Okay, sige. Yun yung.
Yeah.
Okay. Sige. If ever based mo dun sa comment yun.
So from there, pwede na natin i-redo pa yung CO2 at saka yung
Yes,
CO.
po. Just,
I hope you were able to get the idea.
yes, po.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you po.
Congrats.
Thank you very much from the College of Architecture and Fine Arts. And last but not the least for today's presentation, from the College of Science.
Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Kailangan ko pa ganito ang boses ko. Binabati ko po yung nasa function hall, deep floor. Nandiyan po sila lahat yung mga kasama po namin sa CS. Pinapalakpakan po nila ako, naririnig ko po. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Gusto niyo po ba talaga i-present po ito? Kasi baka pumasok po kayo sa klase ko. This is human reproduction. Yes, meron pong subject na human reproduction. Marami pa po bakante sa klase ko. Anyway, may 5 to 8 po ako sa rooftop on Thursday. So, for the CO1, discuss the anatomy and physiology of the human reproductive system. So, male and female po ito. Then, identify and distinguish the parts and functions of male and female reproductive system. So, buhay na buhay mo mga estudyante namin pag yan po ang dinidiscuss namin. And pagkatapos ko pag diniscuss yun, di ba tatakutin naman po natin sila kasi meron pong mga sexually transmitted infections and affect the parts and functions of the human reproductive system. Then, create an audio-visual presentation of the reproductive health. Pwede rin naman po na related yun dun sa human reproductive health field. Then, tangible output po, infographics or information about reproductive health. So, yun po yung output. Then, for the CO2, analyze how the process of reproduction occurs. Kung po kayo mag-alala, wala pong demonstration yan. Discuss the process of gametogenesis